Jerod Mayo finished that answer with "That's on me."
Yeah.
But make no mistake. I mean, that is putting it all on your players.
Oh, yeah.
Like, from where I'm sitting, even when we have the right call, they're still not getting it done. That's on me.
Yeah, so if you have the right call, that's the coaching aspect of
Yeah.
it. Everything else out there, the plays need to be done by the players, and they're not doing it. So that's on them. Yeah, it's all fun and games, and it's great to be the players' coach. But then when you are losing the way that you are, then you start pointing fingers. Now the fun-loving coach isn't that fun,
No.
and now players are going to start to question some of the things that the coach is saying.
Keith, they're a joke.
They are.
They are a joke. You have players getting in trouble off the field. You have players screwing up on the field. You have finger pointing after the game in the locker room. You have the coach calling the players out. The players clapping back at the coaches. Like they're a joke. And never mind, they're losing to what we thought was the worst team in football, but it turns out the Patriots are actually the worst team in football. So the way that all plays out, it doesn't speak well to Jerod Mayo's job security. And we can get into it here. How long you think his leash is? 617-779-7937. It's Patriots Monday. Like, some pretty pointed questions on Greg's show today.
Yeah.
Why aren't you getting more out of the team? Why do you think you're not getting more out of the team? Is he the right guy for the job? You've said before, you think Mayo gets, is it 2 or 3 years?
3.
Are you still there?
I don't know. I'm shook on that, too. So I said 3 right off the rip because I go back to the Thunder Buddies press conference.
Yeah.
I think, and if Kraft is going to say to everybody that, picking Jerod Mayo was like picking his wives and like picking Belichick, and like he trusts his instincts, and he wanted Mayo 5 years ago, you can't, on the one hand, want Mayo 5 years ago, couldn't wait for him to get the job, spoke so highly of him, and then after one bad season be like, you're done. What does that say about your gut? What does that say about your instincts?
Well,
what does that say?
So I agree with you on all that. But
Unless
yeah.
4 years ago, he hired somebody to replace Mayo, unbeknownst to Mayo. Maybe we'll find that out.
That's a good point.
He's like, guys, I had Mayo, but I also had this guy ready to go.
I actually like him more.
I actually like this guy even more, but he wasn't ready.
You pointed this out. It's like
Yeah.
every Israel trip now, Mayo just has to be like, who
Who's
you
over there?
taking?
Who you taking there?
Who's got? What?
Gerard, why don't you stay back? We don't need you for this one.
You don't need to come to Israel anymore.
So I still say 3. I don't
still say you don't even want it down at the 2.
I don't. I'm going to say 3 because I think this is what's going to happen. I think Robert Kraft is going to wait till the end of this season, and if it is the way it's going, 1-15, 1-16, then Alex Van Pelt, friend of the show, he's gone. If they suck again next year, Elliott Wolf's gone. Mm-hmm. And then if they suck for 3 straight years, then Jerod Mayo's gone. I think Jerod Mayo gets 3 years because I think Robert Kraft certainly, he had one coach for, 3 years with Pete Carroll, and then one for 20 years. And that was important to him, too. Remember, he said that, where he's like, I've only hired 2 coaches since I've been here.
Yeah.
Or 3 coaches.
But it was easy. They were winning all the time, and it was easy.
Right, and one of them was for 20 years. Like,
Right.
that's the sort of the outlier.
Right.
The first one was only for 3.
Right.
That's sort of more the norm. That's how long, was it Matt Patricia 3 years in Detroit? Like, bad coaches last 3 years. And so I think he gets 3, but I'm not nearly as confident. Like, I'm not shocked that they're 1-6 necessarily. It is so much worse than I thought, though. I thought the defense was
the record might be what you thought after 7 weeks, but it's just they're non-competitive and they're a mess.
Yes, yeah, because I thought I took the under on 4.5, but like we said, all the losses and even the wins can look a little different. You can go out there and play a hard-fought, lose 23-20 overtime game to Seattle, or you can have multiple non-competitive games. They all count the same in the standings, but the fact that the defense, and he's a defensive guy, and he's got some of the defensive staff back from last year, and some of the players, I know some of the guys are hurt, and that they're not even a middle-of-the-pack defense right now. They're so much worse than that. That you got to kind of pin on Mayo, and so this is an ugly, ugly 1-6.
No, it is. And here's the scenario. My retort would be, right, well, how can you say you like this guy, and it's comparing it to your wife, and you went on your gut, and a year later change your mind? Well, if the pitchforks start coming for Kraft instead of if Kraft is the one that's under fire, and, he said yesterday in London, or was it Saturday night, maybe in London, leading up to the game on Sunday, we're building something special, and winning is so important. And when the pressure turns to him, all right, fine, it's not ideal that I went with my gut and I said all these things about this coach, but it's more ideal to get my organization back than have people coming for me like I'm John Henry. Because I don't think he's far away from that, quite frankly.
Yeah.
And if that's the kind of fire he's under, I could see Mayo losing his job if they don't turn this around. And something tells me they're not turning it around.
But then it's also going to be one of those things, and this is a conversation for later, but how desirable the job is. And I know it's one of 32.
Good point.
But if they look from the outside and be like, all right, so you fired Bill Belichick, and then you gave another guy 1 year.
True.
What am I doing? Like, I better. And then
do you think a lot of people want to coach Drake May, though?
Maybe, but then they're going to say, are you going to pay me? And then do you think Robert Kraft's going to pay the next coach?
No, that's true.
No, so it's like, I don't get paid much,
okay,
and I have no job
good.
security.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that's not exactly a desirable position.
It's fair. The leash is getting shorter. How long it is we can debate, but it's gotten shorter from week one. Mark is in Medford. Get us started today, Mark.
Good morning, guys. I just want to say, yes, the Patriots are soft. They don't play soft. They are soft. This Patriots team does suck, and so does the coach. And I have a message for the Kraft. Okay?
Yeah.
Sure.
When you go woke, you go broke and become a joke.
Okay, well, I don't know.
That is horrible.
I don't know if
Is that
that's
a
where we
real
go.
thing to say?
Yeah, it's a good. You didn't like
I
the
know
snappy,
it rhymes,
You didn't like the
but,
snappy
like,
little rhyme there, Keefe?
Give me a break. That was horrible. You should have just led with your good stuff and left it there.
It did take a bit of a nosedive there at the end.
Yikes.
Yeah, I don't think their wokeness is the issue here. I think Mayo's just look. I didn't want Bill back, and here's where I was wrong. I thought they'd get better by default without Bill and without Mac Jones. I believed that.
Yeah.
That's wrong. Like that, just anybody in there instead of Bill, wrong. I did not like the Mayo hire. I never defended the Mayo hire.
Yeah.
I didn't want to hire anyone Bill had ever met, and that might have been your stance as well, right?
100%.
And maybe you said that, and I glommed on board with that.
Yep.
Because anybody Bill ever even met, I didn't want here.
None of those guys
But
have been good head
I
coaches.
still thought it would be addition by subtraction by getting rid of Bill, and it turns out you couldn't just plug in anyone. Jerod Mayo, not the guy. It certainly feels.
But
that
I
way.
also think you sort of set up Jerod Mayo to fail.
Yeah.
Because
Well, I do think when you go woke, you go broke, and you turn into a joke. I did think
something about egg yolk. So that's an insane call. But I think if you had put Jerod Mayo with a really good offensive coordinator, if you had given him Cliff Kingsbury, I know I harp on him, but I liked him because he had head coaching experience. He's not a great head coach, but he at least had that experience in the league, and he's worked with so many young quarterbacks, and he's been a good offensive mind. If Jerod Mayo was the head coach and you had a real guy that you could just turn over the offense to, maybe Jerod Mayo doesn't look as shaky as he does now.
Right.
And also, like, promoting Covington to defense, like, was that really necessarily the right call, too?
No.
Probably
God,
not.
no.
Probably not.
God, I mean,
So, like, you're setting him up. You're like,
friend of the show, but
great guy.
But
Love to
God,
have
no.
him.
Yeah, just don't want to go to the
electric
defense.
interview.
Yeah.
No, but, like, Mayo doesn't have, like, so Sean McVay.
Yeah.
He is a genius wonderkind or whatever from offense.
Mm-hmm.
But even his first year,
Gave him Wade Phillips.
Wade Phillips.
Perfect.
NFL head coach, maybe not a great head coach, but he was a great defensive guy. So McVay could focus on his one side of the ball, let Wade Phillips do that. So they did that for a couple of years. Then they moved on. And since then, like, they've just had a great coaching tree and they've been churning guys out.
Mm-hmm.
But that was important to him then. Look at right now, Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. Brian Flores is his defensive coordinator, and they're kicking ass. I know they lost yesterday, but like that's a good setup. This was not a good setup from Jump Street.
No. A defensive coach running the whole show, which is a bad place to start. A guy who hasn't called plays in 15 years. Outside of a couple of games when the head coach got
I think he
sick.
called plays like Trent Edwards and the Bills or whatever it
And
was.
then they internally promoted on defense. And, added no talent except for the number 3 draft pick. Not a great setup
who
here.
they didn't play until week 6.
Yeah, and he looks totally not ready, right? Drake, we're going to get more into Drake May.
yeah.
But he looks so not ready.
No.
Mason is in Portland. Go ahead, Mason.
Hey guys, so you guys were trapping about like going for 2.
Yes.
I think that's the least of their problems.
True.
I don't disagree.
Yeah,
it still
you're
bothered me like crazy yesterday, but it is the least of their problems. You're not wrong, Mason.
That is the least of their problems.
Poor coaching is an
Jacoby
issue.
Brissett,
Yeah.
You know, Jacoby, great captain, so it's fantastic. That does not mean he should have been on the field at any point. In the offensive line, when it comes to the passing game, actually isn't the worst. It's actually the running game that's taken the hit more than anything else. And Covington, I don't think Covington's an issue either. I think we took on an offensive coordinator that no one else wanted.
Yeah, I don't know how many people would want DeMarcus Covington. His call screen said Jalen Poole.
Oh, yeah, Paul. Well, I mean, that's sort of the thing is they have so many issues. You might call in thinking of one, then like 5 more pop in your head. And you're like, let's talk about all these.
They do have so many problems.
No, but the defense sucks right now, and so I think Mayo's getting a blame, but the defensive coordinator can't be blameless in all of this.
No.
The offensive coordinator clearly is not the most, creative play caller. He hasn't been handed a ton, obviously. But there is something with the offensive line. They may have finally figured out a combination that is like decent enough. They're not good, but like decent enough.
I still don't even think they have anything on the offensive line. I just think
they don't.
A talented mobile quarterback can mask some of the issues they were having early in the year.
That's true.
That's more what I think it is, but maybe they've stumbled on something with the O-line. Mike Onwenu looks good. Let me tell you, that guy worth every penny.
Oh, my God.
Another friend.
Trevor Walker just pushed him right into May on that one.
Another friend of the show.